Winter camping in low temperature in hot tent. That's the plan for the next coming 4 days. We have 2 tent camps outside Jokkmokk and we're going to spend 3 nights in these camps. With me I have 4 guests, 2 guys from France and 2 guys from Australia. I don't know if they have done dog sledding ever before. I don't know if they have been camping before, but now they promise temperature down to below -30 Celsius. All the trains from South Sweden to Northern Sweden are cancelled. So yeah, in the news they call it extreme low temperature. In Jokkmokk we call it daily life. And right now it's only -22, 25, something like that. It's not super bad. It's actually, you can work without gloves as long as you don't touch iron or metal, or as long as you don't get wet. So we will see where we end up and what we will end up with. I have no idea. Cross the fingers for good luck tour. Or I don't know what you call it. Good luck. I don't know. We will see. So now we have started out and as always the start is crazy. It's a little bit chilly. I think it's below 20 and one of the guests gets 2 white dots on the face. It's easy to warm up, but you had to be aware that you easily get frostbite. When you're driving dogs, snowmobile, you get the wind speed also. We warmed it up and it looks great. We're very early, so it's no damage done. We always start with the easy trail for the guests, but it's still some turns and so on. Now we just have had lunch and now we're back on the trail again. It starts to get a little bit dusky, darkish something, but it's also very cloudy. The days are quite short. It's just 2:30 or something afternoon, and it's a lot of elk tracks here. A lot of elk tracks. So the elk, or actually you say moose in the US, have coming down from the mountains now, and they are in our area right now. It's not so much snow now, so it's not a big deal. They're stepping off the trail and going away. The reindeer also start coming down, but the reindeer are in a little bit different area than where we are going. Did you find water?
Yes.
Last evening when we started this tour, the temperature was -30 below 0 Celsius, we're talking about, of course. And the weather forecast was really promising low temperature. I expected a really cold trip, but now it's maybe 15, 20 only, and it hadn't been so cold today. It had been quite comfortable. -20, 15 degrees the whole day. So no low temperature this week, and I plan to create a video with extreme low temperature camping trip with hot tent, something, clickbait. But yeah, I didn't succeed. The weather forecast fooled me up. We've seen some northern light over there above the clouds. So what actually happens is that it's coming in a layer of clouds, and then the temperature goes up. If you have clear sky, all the heat goes out to the space and the temperature drop. But now we have cloudy and a thin layer of clouds, and it will come a little bit of snow tomorrow or the next day. Not much. Because of the temperature and the snow condition, the trail have been quite fast. So we made our 28 kilometers today in a quite good speed. It was here quite early, and now we have been feeding the dogs, feeding ourselves, and drinking tea and coffee in the tent, and kept the fire going in the stove. Really nice. I think it's time to go to bed now and say goodnight to the dogs. And tomorrow we continue our trip. So, back to the tent. See you tomorrow. We just had a few hours of daylight, and then it's getting dark quite fast again. So it already starts getting a little bit dusk, or what do you say? Here we're driving around an island that's called Pine Tree Island, and in summertime it's super warm and nice and sand shores and everything here, but right now it's a little bit more chilly. We have seen 2 reindeers today earlier, but I couldn't film them, and some birds, but otherwise there is kind of sterile. Now it's the end of the second day, and we have arrived to the second camp. This camp is not a camp that we normally use on these tours. This we just put up now because we couldn't reach the cabin that was planned to reach. So instead of making day tour from camp 1, we put up a camp here in the delta, in the river delta. The tent we use here is from RBM, and I put a link in the description to this tent. It's very fast to put up. It's very heavy if you compare to the normal lightweight tents we are using. This tent is something between lightweight tents and the heavy tent. I think it comes like 30 kilo, 20 kilo, something like that. Check the link down below. It's called UP5, double wall hot tent with a wood stove. It's super cozy. We have had a weak wind today, and it's quite chilling when I'm here. The dogs are, you see the dogs here? They are sleeping here, ready to start. I can hear the wind up there. But they promised some snowfall, some centimeters. But it haven't come so much. We need more snow. Now I'm looking forward to my warm sleeping bag. Or it's not warm yet, but it will be warm. Loading up the stove with some firewood, and then heading into the sleeping bag, and then lock the eyes and see you tomorrow, guys. Today's snowing and grayish, and we have been staying in the tent up there, and now we're preparing the dogs, and then we go for a ride. It's windy, and yeah, hopefully we get a great day. At least we'll get the feeling of a real winter. Now we're crossing a lake and it's a marked trail, but it haven't been a lot of snowmobiles here yet. Really Arctic feeling when you have this grey, low clouds, foggy, snowing, windy. It's one way it's lovely. It is lovely. We are heading towards the Pearl River and I have no idea if we will find a trail or not find a trail. We will give it a try and then we're turning back to the first tent camp. So now we're heading away from the first tent camp and then later on we're turning back to it. We're aiming for a great day out here. So this red cross is the official marking of a trail, winter trail. So now we are on the main trail between Jokkmokk and Kvikkjokk. It's a snowmobile trail, but of course you're allowed to do dog sledding, skiing, snowshoeing, running and whatever you want to do on this trail. Maybe not whatever you want to do, but it's a winter trail anyway. It have only been maybe 1, 2, 3 snowmobiles on this trail until now this winter. It's not much snow yet. Here you see the cross. Nowadays the cross are made of plastic. Back in old days they were made of wood. Now we're passing by the Hundselkojan. It's a log cabin and it was used back in the old days when there were floating logs along the river. Then they use it for overnighting. So before we had roads here, there was logging here and pull the timber down to the lakes or rivers. And then in springtime, when it was high water, they float the logs along the river down to the coast and down to the sawmills. You say sawmills? Where they making the cutting the logs actually. Not cutting the log, where they sawing the logs to more useful wood. So the Pearl River and a lot of rivers and small rivers, creek was a part of a floating trail system up here in the north. And that was a very important work for people in springtime. They made some money of it, but it was probably hard work. A lot of the guys who was working couldn't swim and they were traveling with boats out in the river and they were jumping on the logs when the logs was blocked somewhere. They jumping around on the logs and pull them, and then yeah, I think it was really tough work. Not a work for me, I promise you that. Oh, now we met the problem here because the river is totally blocked out here and with ice, and the river had going straight into the forest. You see down there, I don't know if you see, but the river, part of the river goes into the forest and cut off the whole trail for us. There's water everywhere, so we really had to turn around here. That's how it is sometimes. It's super slippery. It should be, the water here between the trees can easily be 1 meter or something, half meter, 1 meter. Now we're going away from this place. We need to go to higher land. Interesting adventure. Now we have fire.
White fire.
Yeah. This is day 3 and the last night on this trip, and now when we arrive to this place, I don't need to tell people what to do, give instructions. People just know what to do, and I think that's one good thing with making the longer tours. That is that the people who follow on the tour, the guests, they actually make it by themselves. They know what they're doing, more or less, and yeah, they do it. And that's maybe the difference between a traveler and a tourist, because a tourist wants someone else to do everything for them. They just want to sit on the sled and do this, but this is the real thing. People are learning and people are a part of it, and I like that more. So it continues snowing, and I think we had another 5 centimeters snow right now. It's good because the temperature is a little bit up and it's warmer for the dogs. This is Melly. She really enjoys that I'm here talking with her. Hello, Melly. Melly. You see, Melly. Melly. Yo. Hey, Melly. Oh, she's so cute. Really cute. Hey, Melly. Today the trail have been a little bit more slow and more heavy for the dogs and more kicking for us. And it was kind of interesting to end up high up there with the river when Pearl River flooded into the forest. I'm so happy that we wasn't on the other side, because the original plan was that we should have been on the other side of that flooded part up in the cabin, but now we didn't need to cross it. Probably it had been a kind of wet experience to go through that slush. Look at Melly. But we could turn around, and now we're back at our camp number 1. This tent with beds and all that is really, really comfortable. The other tent from RBM is also nice, but it's more basic when you're sleeping on the floor with the air mats and so on. It's not bad at all, and it's very cozy with the stove with the glass windows. But this tent camp that we have here is more glamping camp. So this camp is not camping, it's glamping, or actually better than the cabin. The tent out there, the RBM tent, is more like something between tent and this tent. And I maybe can do a video about all these different type of hot tent that we are using right now. But that's a later project, I think. Now it's time to go to bed, and the guests are already in their sleeping bags, more or less. Just wanted to go out and take a quick look at the dogs. We are more or less 100 meters south of Arctic Circle, so I think we are more or less on Arctic Circle right now. Now, time for bed. So now we're ready to go. Now I just close the tent, check so the toilet door, this is our toilet door is open, and now it's time to dress the dog. We had a good night's sleep and breakfast, and now is the last day, and we're heading back towards the kennel. bit more narrow trail, and with the fresh snow it's uphill and constantly kicking and helping the dogs. But I like the workout, so it's no a problem. As you see, I have 6 dogs in my team and my guests have 4. So I need the extra power of 2 extra dogs when not because I'm old of course, but because I sometimes had to open the trail. We never go totally off-piste. That happens of course, but not long distance. But like now it's 10-50 centimeter fresh snow on top of an old trail, and even that's kind of workout-ish. Do you remember from the beginning of this video I was saying that we are going out on an extreme low temperature hot tent camping trip? I failed. We had minus 25 Celsius in the beginning, 20-25, but after that the temperature have just increased and now it's like 10 degrees, 10, 12, 15 something. So there was not extreme low temperature hot tent camping trip. This was just a normal camping hot tent trip.